And we are live and we are back.
Let's go.
I'm Corey,
I'm Jordan.
and this is the Cordan Full Effect podcast, and we are back.
Like we never left.
We are back like we never left. Episode
49.
49. How'd you say his last name?
I said Goudry.
Ron,
Guidry.
Ron Goudry. He's a
Is that
retired
right?
pitcher. Yeah, look, I don't know. You asked me. You said, who is this guy? He's a retired baseball player. He played for the Yankees. Dang, I was thinking about episode 44. Never mind. We'll go back after this. Anyways, though, he played for the Yankees 14 years, four-time All-Star, five-time Gold Glove Award winner, 2 World Series with the Yankees, and has been retired by the Yankees. I guess he's not a Hall of Famer. That's crazy. Let me look up real quick. Let me see what year. This must be towards either the end of the beginning of Derek Jeter's career or in the 80s, something like that. Yeah, he's born in the
He
50s.
sounded like he was that guy. He was racking up awards and he got 2 championships.
Yeah, but in baseball, that don't mean jack nothing. To get in the Hall of Fame, they stingy.
Well then.
Yeah, I think they've never had a first ballot person, or they only had one. Even Derek Jeter wasn't first ballot. Derek Jeter.
Don't make no sense.
Derek got 5 rings.
There.
Derek got 5. He has a signature move, and there aren't any signature moves in baseball, and he has one. He has like the only one. Yeah, he played for the Yankees. He won. Yeah, 77, 70. Okay, yeah, he's earlier. All right, but I was thinking about the episode 44.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I was looking at that other one, but it was just basketball only. But anyways, Jerry West wore 44, and so I was like, I don't remember talking about Jerry West. We did Hank Aaron.
I mean, Hank was great.
The other people on here are Pete Maravich and George Gervin. Neither one of them are better than Jerry West. It says others like the other people wore that number.
Jerry West made the top 75 of all time, didn't he? The top 75.
He's the logo.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure.
I feel like this. He was like he was on the first list they did. They do it for every anniversary. So right. I'm pretty sure that I don't know if they did a top 25 for the 25th anniversary, but he was on the top 50 when that dropped.
Gotcha.
I mean, obviously he's the logo. Jerry West only won 1 championship. He lost all them rings that Russell got. Yeah, pretty much. They're like Jerry West lost a lot of those. It's one reason Elgin Baylor has no rings. But Jerry West is the only NBA Finals MVP that did not win the series. He might be the only MVP in the history of sports, any sports, for the championship game that did not win the game or the championship, whatever it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's a dog. They lost. It went to Game 7. He dropped like almost a 40-point triple double. It was great, bro. All right, I'm gonna pull up the stats while you're doing the legal disclaimer and what people. How should people tune into us while I can do some more research?
Look, folks. All right. So if you have not done so already, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, rate, review. All right. Cordan in Full Effect. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. That is Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You name it, we out there. All right. Whatever your favorite podcast listening service is, type in Cordan in Full Effect, and I bet you will pop up. All right. Check us out. Please rate, review, drop us in the group chat. We want all the smoke. Okay. Share us with your friends. We like causing a little controversy in there, being talked about. Being talked about is better than not being talked about at all. All right. So that being said, keep us in there. All right. Our legal disclaimer. Okay. Pay attention. Legal disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. Cory is not a professional, and neither am I, unless you sign my contract, which nobody listening has. And everything we say is for entertainment purposes only. Please form your own opinions. Do your own research. Everything is entertainment purposes only. Fair Use Act. All right. If your stuff is mentioned on our podcast, it's out there. We did not, it's publicly available. All right. Again, we are not certified professionals. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right. That's not exactly what my legal team wrote, but it's okay. It's a summary, and that's close enough. All right. For our first time listeners, we talk about health and
wealth.
Fitness.
I had to come off of mute. Fitness and finances
and everything in between.
And we want to make sure you save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
Yes. I heard it come off.
Look,
I had to come off mute real quick. Hey, I'm trying. I swear I found these. I had these stats, but I guess I can't find them now. Hold on. See, now it's acting like I don't know what I'm doing. Put it like this: they lost. He had like a 40-point damn near triple double in Game 7. They lost by technically 4 points, but they made like a last second shot to lose by 2. He ain't got hurt, all this type of stuff. Because here we go. I'll be listening to the Jordan discussions. And I said, you Negroes is lying. Let me go do my own research. Then as I start doing the research, and I'm like, y'all didn't, because why is Jerry West the logo with his one ring when Russell got, I started doing the research and stuff. It's like, boy, Russell just got them rings. But if you start looking at what happened in the games, all he did was lose. That's the only thing he didn't do was win. If you look at some of them stats, he was out there kicking ass. White boy was kicking ass. He's the logo for a reason. I mean, and put it like this: why didn't they make Jordan the logo by now? You know what I mean? You got to be very clear. I love Kevin Hart, and this is the funniest thing I don't care from 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's trying to get him to help him with the sale. And then he's like, he's somebody N-word wearing this N-word tie. And I always say, he's some type of good being the NBA logo. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, I think we're past the YouTube algorithm for the 2 minutes because it says 6 minutes. Maybe it's supposed to be 20 minutes. I don't know. I did my best not to cuss right there.
That algorithm. Right. Look about that algorithm. Okay. Wrong.
Okay.
So
we have any errors?
Yeah, for episode 49, we are doing error cleanup.
Did you have any? I don't have any either.
Oh, yeah, we did
we did podcast files last one.
Gotcha. So we lied. There will be no error cleanup. Okay. Because guess what? Podcast files is our opinion, and nothing is wrong about our opinion because it's our opinion. So
no, well, let me
clean up.
Well, nothing's wrong about Jordan's opinion. If you ever listen to me,
it's when I say nothing is wrong, let me be very clear. It's my opinion. How my opinion can be wrong? It's an opinion. You gonna tell me what I think is wrong?
You could give the wrong information. Yes, it's possible. In your opinion, why you can be quoting stats in your opinion to back it up and be wrong.
But you're gonna tell me my opinion is wrong? It's an opinion. I thought you could be wrong about facts.
Well, that's what I said. I said if you use facts to bolster your opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is what I'm about to say. So I was talking something about some tax brackets. And I had a 35% tax brackets for single people. If you make $250K or more, well, not or more, but $250K is 35% tax bracket, not 32%. I was probably discussing my opinion, and I said the tax brackets, in my opinion, I was like, that's probably wrong. And I was wrong. But this is why the first episode of this year, I did the tax brackets. And that's where you should go if you want to know what the tax brackets are. Or Google it like a smart person. But for those who...
What did we say in our disclaimer? Entertainment purposes only. Look it up, boy. Look. You gonna say what Cory said is word? I mean, Cory is a very intelligent gentleman. I'm not trying to just dismiss his opinion, but first thing I'm gonna do is Google it. I'm just saying,
Well, put it like this: I got my answer from Google. Like I have no
you know what I'm saying?
If you want to keep it real, like I don't make too much stuff up. From the top of my head, it's like, this is on the internet somewhere. I might combine stuff, and as we get into this later, the rest of this episode, I start talking about correlating the data points. Which
guess what our opinions are? An amalgamation of Google searches. I ain't about to act like I made this stuff up. Okay, it's it's on the net. All right, look it up.
Oh my goodness! All right. Now, do we get any current events music, y'all? We're gonna figure out we're gonna get some current events music. Okay.
Let me stop playing. I'm really gonna write it down.
We're both playing because we don't. What do we want? We don't know.
I got my notes up right now. Right. Look. I am get some. Oh, okay.
Okay. Appreciate it, brother Jordan. Everyone thank Jordan. Now the question is it going to be on the next episode? Don't. Hey, hold on. Give me the rock. Give me the rock. Don't do this.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay, don't do that, y'all. Don't ask for the music again. Don't ask why we have yet to read the legal disclaimer as we've been sent. Don't worry about that. You need to exercise and get on your budget. It's another month.
Exactly.
Be another month. This will be dropping on July 4th. Happy Independence Day. Should we say happy? Dang, did we do Happy Juneteenth last time?
I don't think we did. So
are we contradicting ourselves?
You know what?
Oh
Independence Day is just the day I get. I celebrate Juneteenth. Independence Day is just that day I get off. That's where I'm at with it. Look, it's just the day I get off. Look,
y'all better be happy they won that war.
Hey.
The reason they won the war, so you have a Juneteenth. They would have lost that war. It might not have been no Juneteenth.
I was like, you can't be independent from somebody that's not independent. Look at
right. You had to break. You had to have that one first. Oh my goodness! And today's not the history episode, even though I did do some more research on World War II and World War One. As Jordan can verify, as I show my search history.
He sure did. I told you, collect our knowledge. A collecting friend. Look,
sometimes I got to verify the stuff I be saying because you're like, is this right? When it's history, because you're like, let me make it's not gonna change. So it's gotta make sure it's correct.
I feel like you go down the rabbit hole though. Like I feel like you start off trying to verify something that you look up, and then you end up on like 5 different topics later, and 6 articles later, it's on something completely different. And then you hit me with that. Did you know? And I'd be like, nah, I didn't. How do you know? Is the question.
And see, this is when it's like you gotta have counters on the punches. You gotta know when to use information. Back to the generational wealth episode when I talk about Ann Walton Kroenke, who's married to Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Rams and a bunch of other sports teams. I wasn't looking for her. I was just researching him. And then his wife had a blue hyperlink on Wikipedia. On the right, they got their family history. And I'm like, I'll be damned. And so that's how I stumbled upon that. Like I wasn't. And by the way, for those of y'all haven't seen, I guess we can start current events now. But the Broncos or the Waltons, but the Broncos are looking to be purchased by the Waltons / the Walmart family. Now, Ann Walton, who I talk about, her uncle is Sam Walton, which Sam's Club, Walmart. So that's why it's called Sam's, because he's the founder. Then his brother Bud Walton, Bud Walton's daughter is Ann Walton, who's married to Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Rams. When you look at the Walmart net worth and like the top 10 or 20 people, all them billionaires, the 3 people on there that got the last name Walton, those are Sam Walton's kids. So they got way more of the wealth than obviously his niece does, which is Ann Walton. So those are the ones that are looking to buy the Broncos. So this would mean, 20, 30 years, once the 3rd generation of the Walton family, is the oldest living heirs, they're going to own a whole bunch of sports teams. Because Stan Kroenke, he has a sport conglomerate. He owns a baseball. I know his wife owns the Nuggets because of like legal things. So you can't own multiple teams and multiple sports.
Gotcha.
And then he owns the Rams. He owns Arsenal. He owns the Colorado Avalanche. All that. So when he passed away and his wife passed away, they're not only Walmart heirs, they will also be all these sports conglomerate heirs. Then their cousins, their other cousins, they gonna own the Denver Broncos. And then this is why, insert the generation wealth episode here. But it's like, how are you gonna keep up with that? Because then just think, when you go buy a jersey at Walmart, if they own the Broncos, if you buy a Broncos jersey, a Russell Wilson jersey in Denver, in Walmart's, what type of, talking about the money, the dollar staying in the Black community, how much is that recycling for Walmart?
Yeah,
because they get the jersey sale, like they get the jersey sale already. I mean, good.
the team and the place of business.
Yeah, and y'all out here doing lashes. No disrespect. Let me not disrespect the women. The men, y'all out here selling drugs and doing illegal stuff. That's what the men are doing. I couldn't do what the men did.
God! No, God, please, no!
Nah, but yeah, that wasn't
Shout
a
out to Michael Scott.
Right? Yes, thank you. Hey, speaking of 40-year-old virgin, I know we didn't see it up like that. But that we weren't talking about that current event today, but that is one. Yeah, though the Walmart family is looking to buy the Broncos. So if y'all trying to keep up with the wealth, good luck.
Man, it sounds like you gotta come with the established business or a sports team to even get into that family. Like that's on them old fashioned. What do you have?
I talked about
get in here.
Yeah, marrying in as like their first cousin did, right? I don't know the names of the people who are buying it, but they all have obviously just it's related to the stock price, which is everything's going down right now. But Sam Walton, he had 4 kids. I think he had 3 boys and 1 girl. One of his sons died in a plane crash. It's a Walmart heir, so that's I think he's been dead for like 20 years or so. But the other 3 children, I think they all relatively each have a net worth of 50 billion. Might be more than that now, give or take, with the stock market. Yeah. And so out of all the public families, Well, now Elon, and I think Elon is he at 300 billion? They be moving so much. I think net worth. No, it's at 230. But like the Walton family might have the highest net worth out of all the public people, like the family, not an individual, right?
Gotcha.
But the family in and of itself. But yeah, in the next, as we get towards our 50s, once people unfortunately start passing away, because we don't wish death on anybody, but once they start passing away and the legacy continues, you're gonna start seeing it's like, dang.
Multiple revenue streams. Look at that. Yeah. They locked and loaded on that side.
Yes, but all right, brother Jordan, what is the next current event topic?
All right, the next current event topic, we are going to talk about the Storm the Capitol court cases. All right, for people
Storm of the Capitol. You're missing up there. That preposition.
My bad. Storm of the Capitol court cases, right? So January 6th, for people who didn't know, 2021, people was out here wilding in the streets, and they decided to storm the Capitol for, various reasons, but they was out here wilding. Let me bring up my handy dandy information here. So this article is from it's from insider.com, but I mean, it's reliable because I got it backed up with justice.gov to actually look at the court cases. So it says currently 874 people have been charged in the Capitol insurrection thus far. There's a table now. It is a publicly accessible table for those who are interested. You can look it up. You can just get on the internet and look it up. That's got the people who have been charged, where they were arrested at, what they were arrested for, when their court cases started, and what their current status is. And there's currently over 874 people on that list. Of that 874, I believe 314 riders have already entered into guilty pleas, as they should, because guess what? Y'all was on TV acting a fool. All right, it is one of the insurrection on the 6th of January of 2021 was one of the most documented crimes in U.S. history. What does that mean? We was watching people commit crimes. It's got video evidence. I mean, it's got everything, right? It just wasn't smart to begin with. I guess they thought that it wasn't gonna catch up with them, but guess what? They got time now. They've been sorting this thing out for almost what we're in June, so almost in July. June at the time of recording this. By the time you're listening to this, it will be July. You know what I mean? So
17 months could happen beginning of the year. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we 17 months later, they still sorting it out, and they still bringing up on charges on people. So if you were, foolish enough to participate, they gonna catch you. It's just a matter of time. The list grows on, but don't be. Bottom line up front, don't be these people. All right, don't commit a crime on television. All right, it's not smart.
Yeah, don't storm the Capitol. Don't do that. Now, by the way, they just didn't storm the Capitol. The entire legislative branch was there. I remember didn't we discuss? Yeah. I've already said that.
The charges are crazy. Like, I mean, the minimum, so the basic charge, right? That anybody who was basically there has the entering and remaining in a restricted building, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building, violent entry and disorderly conduct in the Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. Those are 4 separate charges that seems to be just the basic basis of most of the charges for the people on this list, because I have the table up. It's got their full government on here, man. Somebody was on here being reckless. They got assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers, using a dangerous weapon, civil disorder, and aiding and abetting. So they was, helping people get away when they shouldn't have been, destruction of government property exceeding $1,000, obstruction of an official proceeding, and aiding and abetting. And then all the stuff I said before, the entering, remaining in the restricted building, particularly the Capitol. And then on top of that, somebody else got obstruction of an official proceeding. So they still getting ratchet even after they didn't got caught. They getting ratchet in the court. So saying all that to say, those court cases will continue to roll on as the year goes on. They rolling through the footage. They are highly dependent on people to turn in people that they recognize. I ain't telling y'all to snitch because I ain't about that life. But if somebody is on TV, just tell them, hey, the streets is looking for you. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? Hey,
FBI, hey, go ahead.
Hey,
FBI, open up.
FBI, open up.
Streets
there-
is looking for you. All
if
right.
there was ever, literally, that's who's coming to get your ass. This is
they pulling up like,
Hey,
okay, all right. I don't want no smoke.
you better hope. Look, I always say, if the CIA ever shows up and you're in America, you're definitely going to prison because the CIA doesn't handle that. So if
y'all better stop playing with these 3-letter organizations. That's what it is. If they got 3 letters, don't mess with them. Leave them alone.
Oh
right?
my goodness! All right, you have anything else on that?
No, sir. That wraps up that current event.
All right. So speaking of 3 letters, the last and final current event, ROE, is 3 letters. Roe v. Wade, your boy. Yeah, somebody. The pen retired, but I'm good with it. So we did. I think episode 48 was the episode we discussed on abortion, but that was when the draft got leaked for the first time ever. So, but it is,
which is crazy because it's the full-on draft. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if y'all know, but like when it's a leak, usually it's like partial, or it's like, you know, like a picture of a picture or a video of a picture of a, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the full document. This leak is perfectly maintained. Like, it's a document. It's a full-on PDF of everything.
Yeah. It's like when I said the album was leaked. It's the whole joint. It's unedited. Right. Like it's everything. It's not missing no seconds, nothing like that. Oh my goodness. But yes, as if you have been under an effing rock, I think you still would have caught the wind of this news. But I was thinking of Patrick Starr. But Roe v. Wade has been officially overturned by the Supreme Court. And the headline, this is from NPR, ending the right to abortion upheld for decades. Now, again, abortion is not illegal. What this did is the federal government didn't say it had to be legal in all 50 states, 51 including DC. It's not DC, not state, but you know, all 51 places. Right. Now, with this overturning of it, each state and the District of Columbia now has the opportunity to define the legality of abortion. There are some states that have something, or have, however you want to word it, trigger laws in place, which essentially they come into effect, you know, if something's already passed, all my coders out there, if then, right? So if this occurs, then this will happen. That's how the trigger laws are set up. So a lot of these conservative states have had those in place. And so boom, as soon as they were, some of them, I think South Carolina, maybe one of these states, conservative ones, they had it in since like 2007.
They were waiting. They was waiting on this law to go or this overturn.
My bad. Guess what's, I don't know. What's the most racist state? Out of all the states, if you could guess, which one is it?
Alabama.
Mississippi, the one still got Confederate flag. It was Mississippi.
Okay.
I'm saying it was Mississippi, the one that had it since 2007. And what I'm saying, I think, let me see. Yeah, acting along too. Wait, oh no, maybe I was wrong.
I don't know black people. You know black people in Alabama? That's why I said Alabama.
Yeah, there are a whole bunch of black people in the South.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be. You know, the only state that doesn't have black people in it is Utah. Utah, I think, has like 5. Here we go. Why, Cory?
Well,
Utah has like 5,000 black people, I think.
In West Virginia.
No, yeah, West Virginia got some black people. I'm talking like this. Like Utah doesn't have any at all.
Look, we got to Google now.
But hold on, percentage of population. There we go. Let me word it that way. Oh, here we go. You hear that? You hear us both clicking. You hear us both clicking. I did this research earlier when I was talking about the you know,
Wyoming,
how much money do people have? I lied about Utah. It's 55,000.
I was like the first state. Apparently, Wyoming has the lowest black population of 2%, followed by Montana. That makes sense because who goes to Montana with one? Wait,
see, the one I'm looking at says Montana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Oregon, New Mexico. See, West Virginia is, 4.2%. That's 150,000 people there. There's less than 10,000 black people in Wyoming. That's crazy. It's crazy that they still there. It's crazy that
all right, don't go there.
It's crazy for the, let me get the exact number. It's crazy for them 9,770 people that I'm looking at per the World Population Review. This is 2002. I don't know I don't know when this year was done. Regardless though, this is irrelevant to how many black people, because we're talking about We're talking about Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade. Anyways, back on topic. Yeah,
well, that is relevant to Black people because all the abortion.
it is.
But
it is.
yeah, it's finally been overturned. You can go ahead there.
Basically, what does that mean for us? I mean, well, I'm just
who's us?
Basically, sorry,
what do you mean, you people?
Look, I'm gonna go with it. But for us, what does that mean for us as a people? Like Cory said, there are those laws that are in place. So as soon as this was overturned, the state now has the right to put into place what they basically already had on the back burner. For Maryland, Cory, did you want to go ahead and the article that you have for the state?
Oh, you're gonna break down the Maryland one. Yeah, so for most of you, if not all of you,
you do Maryland, the district, and Virginia. I figured that comes.
Yeah. I got you. Yep. All right. So for Maryland, once I get there, because all 50 states are on this dang thing. So for Maryland, in short, as you know, Larry Hogan's a governor. Well, as you know, Larry Hogan's a governor of Maryland. He's Republican. He's not. I don't think he can run again for another term. But regardless, we have to vote for a new governor. Okay. So he's a Republican. So who knows who'll be in that seat. But in short, Maryland has $3.5 million in state funding to provide training, but that's not mandated, until the fiscal year 2024. And Hogan, being on a limited term, he indicated he's not going to make that money available sooner. So we'll have to wait and see, depending if it's red or blue, that governor's seat. For those of you who don't know, the governor is essentially the president of the state, most powerful elected official in the state, essentially, just like the president. But what Maryland has done is they've made it so essentially, in short, only doctors could get abortions. And now some places have made, to make more accessible, they make it so nurse practitioners, people in the medical field outside of medical doctors can give abortions. And so in Maryland, they got nurse practitioners, nurse midwives, and physician assistants. So for those that have received the training, they'll be able to do, they receive the training on medication abortion, and they'll be able to provide the services starting next month. I'm not sure when the date is. And by the way, this is from pbs.org. I know we got to make sure we always do our source citing. That's from pbs.org. So in short, for those of you who live in Maryland, no issues. And this article was June 25th, and today is June 28th, even though it's dropping Independence Day. So in short, for Maryland, and like this, go ahead.
I've already said this before.
Now I gotta go back and listen to the abortion episode. I'm pretty sure I already told y'all how it's gonna work. Now each state is going to determine. And so, like I said, they're going to be 58 rulings. Jesus, 58. 51. 51 rules. Yeah, it's going to be 58. It's going to be 58. It's going to be 58.
Somebody going to spin the block.
Right. Now I'm counting the territories. The territories are not on here, by the way. But, they're going to be 51 different rulings. And in short, the conservative states, the pro-life ones, are going to do everything they can to make abortion illegal. To be very clear, all the conservative states, from what this PBS.org article has, they're not all making abortion illegal. Some of them are. Let's be very clear. Some of them are, and even in the case of Law and Order SVU type of situation or incest, you still can't get one. Some states have gone that far. There's nothing on here about. Yeah, there's nothing on here about contraception, this article per se, because I know they're talking about contraception. But there are some states who went all the way. If you are pregnant, you cannot get an abortion. By the way, even if it's life-threatening to the mother. Those are 3 cases, right? Life-threatening or 4. Life-threatening to the mother, issue with the fetus, incest, or then Law and Order SVU situation. Those are the 4 general ones that everyone usually agrees on, except the far right jokers. So some of these states are saying no. But if you live in Maryland, you don't have to worry about that. And so, nothing literally says effect of Supreme Court ruling. Nothing will change immediately. So it says abortion was approved in Maryland, like as far as the latest big change was 1991. 62% of the people in Maryland voted for it in 1992. So that's one of the things too. A lot of the states got to vote on these abortion laws, like where you live at. And if you're on the wrong side, what you want me to say? Whatever. This is why I can't be in charge, because it's one thing where it's like, okay, you didn't vote directly for the Supreme Court, as I'm trying to find DC right now. But it's one thing if we didn't vote for the Supreme Court. But some of these states are saying, this article is saying that y'all had a chance to vote. Maybe not you weren't old enough, but it's like, right. They say they went to the polls and they voted for this stuff. And it's like, okay, that's the United States.
I know as far as the contraception is concerned, some of the postings I've been seeing have stated that certain stores have started limiting the amount of Plan B, the alternative brands, basically, you know what I mean? The contraception options that you can buy. I think up to no more than 3 per purchase, right? So you know what I mean? Don't be out here thinking you just gonna still be reckless, getting your stuff shot up, and you're gonna Plan B it out. It sounds like you're limited to 3 per purchase. I'm not sure how they're tracking that. I don't know if you can leave the store and come back in. Does that count as a separate purchase? They don't really have the rules and stipulations out, but that seems to be. I think it's more of a supply and demand limitation than anything else, right? It's more so they're just concerned about running out on shelves, but it just happens to go along with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. So that being the case, there is a strategic allotment of Plan B. So keep that in mind, ladies. If you're out here being reckless in these streets.
Oh man, I told y'all what to do. I told y'all to get the abortion a couple weeks ago.
Look.
For those of y'all in the,
I'm gonna tell you what. You stop having sex.
That too. For those of you who are pregnant, obviously.
It's all right. Stop having sex. You know what they call? Look, what is it? You know what they call people who have sex, Cory? I know what they call it.
Word to Miss Towns. Word to Miss Towns. The OG Arundel High School GOAT. She taught high schoolers about sex. Those high schoolers went and had sex and had kids, and then she taught those kids about sex. That's how long she was teaching. Word to Miss Towns. Look, she taught 2 generations worth of people. Like, I told your parents how to do this, and now you here in my class. Oh my goodness. All right. We got 2 more things to keep it relative. DC, District of Columbia. This is where it's going to get tricky. DC is not a state. Okay. The most powerful person in DC is the mayor. DC is all blue. However, it says that where is it at here? Let me see if I find Congress. It says that Congress has some type of power in DC as far as this type of stuff. Let me see. The local government in the nation's capital is completely controlled by Democrats, with a Democratic mayor, and the DC council split between Democrats and nominal independent politicians who are all invariably Democrats. So abortion was legal in 1971, essentially when the Supreme Court case, United States versus Vuitch. However, the U.S. Congress has oversight power over DC laws, and Congress has already banned the city from using local funds to pay for abortions for women on Medicaid. Boom. This is what I said the main issue was. Remember, I said the Republicans said y'all can have it, but then y'all keep saying y'all want the tax money or y'all want to raise insurance premiums. Remind me to go to California after I do Virginia to give the far left situation. But again, the Congress has already said, hey, you can't use Medicaid, taxpayer money to help for abortion. So essentially, people in poverty, right? People on some type of government subsidy, Medicaid, right? They can't use that, which is their healthcare, essentially. For those who don't know, they can't use that to get an abortion, and that's where it's like, this is why. I mean, this is America. You want taxpayer dollars. Votes get had on the situation, and it's a good question. Even if you can, let's say it is legal, how should it be paid for? When you start asking for taxpayer dollars, and not only that, as the far right conservatives would say, dang, the poor people need it. Why are poor people having kids? For those who don't know, if you're on Medicaid, you don't have money. That's the only way to get on it. And then now we have to pay more tax dollars because you have a kid, by the way. I guess it would be cheaper to let you get the abortion now. I guess it counters all the punches.
Emotional damage.
Oh my goodness. So, it's likely, abortion is still going to be legal in DC, but you do have that oversight of Congress, and obviously Congress moves. Right now, Congress is half Republican, half Democrat. Like I said, we are voting. House might flip in a couple months. All right. Then second to last, I'm gonna do California because we were right about California, and that's why it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess when California drops theirs because they said well, I'm gonna save it for Virginia though. So Virginia is a red state. Sorry if you live in Northern Virginia, but Virginia is a red state. In short, there's not going to be an immediate change. However, some abortion providers expect to see an uptick in patients seeking care in Virginia from neighboring states with trigger laws that would ban abortion. So again, as we said, you'll likely
Right.
still be able to travel to another state. So for those of you who are not geographically inclined, Virginia, well, Maryland's beginning of the South, but Virginia is technically beginning of the South now because Maryland's blue. Well, anyways, I'm not going to break down the situation. Regardless, though, regardless though, because everyone who's listening to this already knows the situation. Regardless, I'm not going to break it down for the future people. Virginia borders West Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. All three of them places are likely going to get abortion. Okay, so in short, if you obviously, since Virginia is quote unquote the beginning of the South, by definition, the closest you could go to get an abortion would be Virginia. If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you're right, Florida, right as you go down. So that would be the next. That would be the closest place. I mean, Maryland would be next, but you're in Virginia, get an abortion there. So that's what we're saying. This is saying they might see an uptick in neighboring states, which would be West Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. They're all three of those looking to get it up out of here. Okay. Now, again, a lot of the conservative states, before I do California to wrap up, a lot of the conservative states that aren't, I would say most conservative states are not getting rid of abortion completely. They're making it to where you either, by the time a woman finds out she's pregnant, she's past the abortion window, which is technically the same thing. But as I say, but as I always say, you don't get all these months to make this decision.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from experience, I mean, look, we found out my wife was already 4 weeks. You know what I mean? So if the window is, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you literally get 2 weeks to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And see, go ahead.
No, I was just saying for people who don't know pregnancy. So technically, pregnancy starts from the date after your last missed period, right? So when you find out that you're pregnant, you know what I mean? They backtrack it, they backdate it, right, all the way to the day after your last missed period. You know what I mean? So again, when you find out, you're usually already 3 to 4 weeks upon realizing like, oh snap, this is actually a thing. So they're making the window smaller on purpose. So it's like you're either past the point of an overturn when you do arrive, or you have 7 to 10 days to do something about it.
Right.
And that's that's not a lot of time to make a life-changing decision, literally. But I think that's the point.
And see, that's what I thought too, until I read this. For those of you who don't know, I didn't read thoroughly, but I read everything for each state. For the states, so it's like, yeah, all these states must have it, so you can only get an abortion in like 6-8 weeks. Nah, they put it like 14, 16. Some of the conservative states are in the 20s, and it's like they give you damn near halfway. And so so it's like the lowest number I think for the states that are keeping, I think is 16 weeks. That's 4 months. Okay,
wow.
let me.
I thought I saw 6. There's not one with 6. I mean, I don't want you. Don't look through every state, but I thought 6 was the lowest that I had heard. But maybe that's just hearsay. You know what I mean? I did not read that somewhere. That was more of a conversation floating around.
I don't see 6 in this article.
Gotcha.
Let me say that I don't see 6 in this article. Regardless of, again, these are the states that are the conservative states that are still keeping it. It's not like they're either making it so you can't essentially get it. You can't get it at all. Right. They have there's a time there. When you can get it, by the time you find out you're pregnant, you'll be past the window which you can get an abortion. Or in short, the longest time I think is 24 to 26 weeks. I think that's the longest one I saw on here, which is 6 to 7 months, that time frame. But as I said, in short, the states that have 24 weeks, between weeks 20 to 24 or months 5 to 6, almost no women are getting abortions. Obviously, almost full term by then. You know what I mean? So the data shows that the closer you get to the cutoff date, there's a significant drop. And when the abortions occur, which I recommend, let's just make it so it's all the way to 9 months, have, a couple decades or so on what that look like. And then, redo it from there. If the data holds like what it is now, where most women don't get abortions after six months, then it's not like you put it at 10. And this is when people would get mad at me when I would say this. Like, we're not putting it to 10 months. I said the question after we left the baby shower. We're having a conversation with V. I'm gonna say her name because she was on the Squad podcast. But I was like, how about we just make it so you can get 10 abortions at any point in time? Women can get 10 lifetime. Let's make a lifetime number on it. Then she was like, well, 10's too much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
nobody wants
a man speaking here, but I mean, I feel like 10 is a lot. I mean,
what are you doing?
You just out here being reckless. Like,
first, put it like this: most women don't get pregnant 10 times.
Yeah.
Most women have never had 10. I mean, the sheer math of women having kids. All right, let's stop before they hate us forever. All right.
What is the now? I'm curious before we move on. What is the average? Like, is there
average what?
You want me to do it? Average number of the number of abortions per person.
Per person. My guess is going to be plus. I'm gonna say plus. Plus or minus 2. I'm gonna take the plus on the 2. Hold on. No, you know what I mean? What type of abortions we talk about? Because the legal abortions. Because all right, here we go. As I told you, I did a lot of abortion research today, and I didn't know we were going to do this. So I realized from the data, abortion is just an issue for women who aren't married. Because married women don't get abortions. That's that. Because what are we saying? Well, women who are pregnant by their husbands are getting, obviously from a non-medical issue, right?
Gotcha.
If a completely healthy pregnancy, married women who are pregnant by their husbands. Married women who are pregnant by their husbands and who have a healthy pregnancy for them and the baby are not getting abortions. And the data shows that it's less than 5%.
Gotcha.
And that's all. That's like, that's out of all of them. And so obviously there are some, medical issues in there. And obviously women who aren't pregnant by their husband in there. Clearly. So now the question is it an abortion issue or is it the decline in marriage rate issue? Never mind. See, now I'm correlating the data. Okay. Now, as I always said, if y'all just listen to God, it'd be a lot easier. He told you not to have sex before you get married. If we just listen to if people would just listen to that.
Listen, you out here getting a club shout out.
Man, sit your dumb ass.
Okay.
Look. Shut up, bitch.
Okay. You don't hold on.
I'm here to tell you right now. We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Don't we care about? We do care about Roe v. Wade. Again, I'm someone who believes it's Cory, conservative, independent. I'm someone who believes it should still be legal. However, I'm very practical. These fools said they're gonna get rid of it. Y'all went from unlimited to 0. I mean, somebody should have been like, "Now, can we get something?"
Like, you know what I'm saying? They went from one extreme to the other. We went all the way from the right to the left.
Y'all would die if you had to ration stuff off. You just eat everything at one time. It's like, no, you got one piece of bread for a week. You can't eat the whole thing today. And it's day 1. Like, you got to cut it up into, a logical person in the slices of 7. And stay asleep as long as you can. Don't talk, don't use no energy, don't breathe heavy. That's why you're supposed to go to sleep. So, never mind. Y'all don't survival technique. So you don't use up all your air. But
about that. They can make it on the island.
Well, let me go. I'm not gonna make it on the island either. we already talked about how bougie I was in my AC. my thermos.
Hey yo. He said he didn't have a touch screen. Hey yo. Most don't, bro. Don't. It's all good. It's all good.
I probably make it on the island just because, again, as Jordan said, I'm collecting information. So I my brain would start trying enough stuff that I've seen. and eventually something will work, but So to wrap it up though, because we talked about how, again, they're going to make it so all 50 states and DC can have their own ruling. As long as you can go, as Jordan said, that'd be, if you can't go to a state that has abortions, that'd be a conservative restriction on a liberal policy. Yeah. If you can still go to other states, as they talked about Virginia, as I just mentioned, and getting abortions, what's the real issue? This sounds like pretty much almost every other single law that we have. Minimum wage, gun rights. I mean, this is how the United States is set up. And as y'all know, Mr. or Mrs. Big Old California over there on that far left on the west. It's funny. They literally are the furthest on the left in the country. What is California saying they're going to do? The governor of California said he wants to make sure that California remains a safe haven when it comes to abortions. I think that ends it right there.
Well, sounds like you need. I mean, if you really need one, one place you can go. Look,
and not only that, they have a what's next section. What is California going to do? They got 13 bills. They're considering already 13 bills to strengthen and expand the access to abortion, and then. These are bills based off of what Governor Newsom put in place last year, saying, and then they include proposals that would help pay for women from other states to come to California for abortions, ban enforcement of out-of-state civil judgments, on California abortion providers and volunteers and increase the number of people who can offer abortions by authorizing some nurse practitioners to perform the procedure without the supervision of a doctor. Lawmakers also plan to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November that would explicitly guarantee the right to abortion and contraceptives. Now, that's very, very key. Now, they're going to make a constitutional amendment. What are constitutional amendments? The First Amendment, the Second, the Third. Again, as we told you, the states have everything set up just like the federal government. So your state has its own constitution. That's the issue with abortion. It's not clearly explicit in the Constitution that you can get one. So the Supreme Court, as Jordan already said, is interpreting what George Washington and the rest of it was George Washington, not Thomas F. and Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson and all of them are saying, and your state has the same thing. And California said they're gonna make an amendment. And when they make this amendment, when you make an amendment, it's even harder to make an amendment to overturn an amendment. Amendments are very I maybe you need your sister here, but the highest form of law. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a well thought out change. Keywords are well thought out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not like there are laws, but like an amendment is more than a law. It's like, nah. It's like a framework of something like, nah, we doing this no matter what. What else did I see on here though? Here we go. Remember I was talking about Medicaid and healthcare providers as far as insurance. So in 1969, California Supreme Court declared that the state's original abortion law to be unconstitutional, but left the 1967 law in place. And in 1972, California voters added a right to privacy to the state's constitution. Since then, the state Supreme Court has interpreted that right to privacy as a right to access abortion, allow minors to get an abortion without their parents' permission, and use public funding for abortions in the state's Medicaid program. So that's what some DC said they don't allow. Well, California is allowing it. Then also California now currently requires private health insurance plans to cover abortions and does not allow them to charge things such as co-pays or deductibles for the procedure. Wow. So that's the furthest you can get, right? That's as good as you're gonna get with being able to have an abortion. And then I said,
you don't got to live here to get them, and we ain't charging you co-pays for them. Like, what? Yeah,
you ain't got to go home, but you can get that. Right. Get that up out of here. Then, as I already mentioned, the states that are not allowing abortion at all, even in the case of Law and Order SVU, I hope I can say that a whole bunch of times. But in the case of the harassment situation, incest, and then even if there's a health issue to the mother or the fetus. None at all. So those are the two spectrums, okay, that you have. And respectfully, like all other laws, y'all what do we do on this show? We make y'all prioritize things. Where does abortion rank on your list? If it's way up there, then why don't you already live in a state that's like that? But then now we had a conversation where y'all still want to be legal on a federal case, and it's not now. Is that simple? Is that simple? Okay, did you apply this? You want any other states?
No. I think we did. I just want to make sure that the DMV got outlined, and then of course you had something to compare it to. So
yeah.
I heard it here. Yeah,
because I gave the far right one, which everybody pretty much knew, but I didn't make sure I threw the California in there so people could see the whole spectrum. But most people probably don't know this. You should look at the voting for the president. The entire country is red. There are small pockets, major cities, usually essentially on the coast, and then you got Chicago, that are Democratic. The entire country is conservative. Now, it's half and half, but if you look at that, literally the entire middle of the country, less people than the coast, but it's all red. It's all red. It's so many states are on there. I mean, Arizona, Arkansas. I mean, think about if you're into college sports. The entire SEC.
Oh.
No. None of the entire SEC, no abortions. Now, so like I said, some of the states are doing it, but most of the people who are pro-choice or want an abortion, they likely live in a state where you can still get an abortion even with this change. The people who are pro-choice that live in a conservative state, you've already had these restrictions on you in the first place, and this goes back to how many abortions do you want to get anyway? Again, we already said it's not you get your entire life as a woman to be impacted by this. Women can't give birth forever. Yeah. So, I mean, this is, roughly speaking, 18 to 40, right? We don't include minors in here, even though they can. But 18 to 40 is what the demographic is truly impacting for women. Okay, never mind. 35 to 40 is geriatric.
I think you got to,
go ahead.
I know we got those specialty cases. I think you got to include minors.
No, I don't want to include minors because I don't want to. put us in that situation. I mean, put like this, everybody.
I was just putting it out there for me. I think we were talking about whether they can or they cannot. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, no, and it's on there. Some states are making it where even minors can get it, can't get it, or they need, they don't need their parents from, like California, they won't need their parents' permission to get it. So I'm okay with saying that because that's the law. I will read a law, but for us, I don't want to be like, oh, we're talking about minors doing that act. We don't. 18 and older over here, please.
Hey, I'm tracking.
I feel like this. I'm making sure. Don't chop this up, you sons of bitch. don't even try it. Don't even try it. Nah, yeah, because that's well, when if we ever talk about the fatality rate, pregnancy,
right?
That's one of my things. The best time, if you want to know. I mean, if you're not trying to get pregnant until you turn 30, the first 17 years, 13 to 30, you just I mean, if you know anybody who's had a baby under 25, if you know anybody who's had multiple babies under 25, and any type of physical activity, you can't tell.
Yeah.
If they stayed in shape, if they were in shape before and still
they maintained a healthy pregnancy, let's be clear.
Yeah, you can't tell.
But we ain't gonna get into the falsality of it, people should be eating for chew in America when they get pregnant. We ain't gonna do that. That's a whole nother episode. We'll save that one for later. I'll bring my wife on the episode for that one.
Right. I feel like this. We working so y'all can get up here, and then that's welcome to Cory's court. All right, don't be lying up here. I'm gonna be looking like this. By then, I'll have a camera. I'm gonna keep my hands up so y'all know I'm not googling nothing. Look. All right, we ready. Even though we still will fact check your ass on here. Don't get it twisted.
Real quick.
That's how we got.
You said what?
Yeah, right. As you probably, I don't know if they will be able to hear, but Jordan and I were both typing at the same time for whatever the hell that was with the black population.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
That's the last thing you had.
Do you have anything else? That wraps up the current events. Now the question is,
okay,
are we gonna keep rolling? How we feeling?
I'm good.
Listen, we're currently at for our folks. We're currently at 51 minutes and 35 seconds. All right. I know we've been trying to do our best to keep it in a reasonable hour-long format. However, you know what I mean.
Do you want to kill it and go again? Do you want to kill it and make another one?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Let's do that. All right, y'all. All right. So to wrap it up.
That was the episode.
All right. Yeah. Hey. All right. So wrap it up. We talk about. Okay, Jordan, you need to recap on the storm of the Capitol.
We'll talk about the one before that. We did.
What's the one before? Oh, the Denver Broncos stuff?
Yeah, the purchasing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the Walmart family, as I've already said, they already own a whole bunch of sports teams via marriage, but that is on Bud Walton's side of the family or his direct lineage. Sam's Club or Sam Walton, that is the founder, and his children are looking to purchase the Denver Broncos. So essentially, if that was to go through, once they pass away and then Bud Walton's children pass away, essentially the grandchildren of the founders of the Waltons will own multiple sports teams due to the Walton family being married to Stan Kroenke. Stan Kroenke is I don't know if he owns a sports conglomerate. He owns the Rams. He owns the Colorado Avalanche. His wife, Ann Walton, owns the the Denver Nuggets. He also owns Arsenal. If you don't know, Arsenal is a soccer team. Essentially, it's like owning the Red Sox or the Yankees, one of the biggest soccer teams in Europe. He owns multiple sports teams. He owns a gaming team, like a video game team, a lacrosse team. He owns a whole bunch of sports teams. Okay. His wife is Ann Walton, the second generation in the Walmart legacy. Her first cousins on the other side are looking to buy the Denver Broncos. Okay. So, and they already got $50 billion net worth apiece amongst three siblings. So that's over $150 billion. So that's to say, insert the generational wealth episode here. If y'all want to compete, that's the Walmart's on the list to compete with. I mean, if you want to compete with a family, that would be it. All right. But that's just let y'all know when it comes to, generational wealth and legacy building, what the people who already built it are doing.
Change starts with you. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. I highly recommend it.
So wrapping up that next current event, the storming of the Capitol court cases. As we said before, there's roughly about 800. I want to say, let me scroll up in that line. There was 800 and come on, Jordan. There was 800 and what? close to 900. I think it was 874. I'm going to estimate because I can't find the article. There was 874 people, I believe, that that stormed the Capitol and that have been charged. Again, that occurred January 6, 2021. For those who missed it, if you missed it, you're living under a rock because, you know, it was all over the TV when it happened. I believe roughly about 300 of those people have already taken guilty pleas, so they're probably doing some jail time. There's varying charges across the board, including storming the Capitol, destruction of property, aiding and abetting, assaulting officers. So that list is public on justice.org. You can look it up and see if anybody you know is on there.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Listen, it's public information, and it's got their full government on there and what's going on in the status of their case. So that being the case, that is what's happening with that. They will continue to prosecute people as time goes on. They're reviewing tapes, all film, all news, any type of evidence that they have for one of the most documented crimes in U.S. history. They are reviewing it to continue to pursue people over time. Moving on to the next current event, we had Roe v. Wade officially being overturned. And what does that mean for the people? Long story short, that means that the federal legislation has now been revoked. That means each state and or district now has the ability to decipher that, what that means to them at the state or district level. Clearly, that varies across the board, depending on whether they are conservative or not. And I'll turn it back over to Cory, what that means for at least the DMV area, as well as a contrasting or contrary opinion, California.
Yeah, so the DMV area, let's start with the D, as in DC, District of Columbia. Looks like abortion is still going to be legal there. However, Congress does have, like the actual federal government, Congress does have some power there, but it looks like abortion is still going to be legal there. As far as Maryland, same situation. Abortion is still going to be legal there. Maryland in 2024 for the fiscal year does have $3.5 million sitting there for training so that nurse practitioners and other people in the medical field outside of doctors can give abortions. Virginia is looking to still keep abortions. However, they're also looking to get rid of it because Virginia is it's Republican, but you know, they, like I said, if you know Virginia, you got Nova, Virginia, which is still blue, liberal. So obviously they still have some voting power there. I think Virginia ended up getting a blue governor, but then I think he had some criminal stuff, some crazy happening. Regardless, though, Virginia is like on a pause. So they're still going to have abortion illegal. And what's likely going to happen is the neighboring states that are more conservative, West Virginia, Tennessee, and North Carolina, are looking to get rid of abortion pretty much altogether. Those citizens will likely end up traveling to Virginia, you know, as things, you know, are turning over. And so Virginia actually might see an uptick in abortions. Now, again, from the far right perspective, Texas, Alabama, Florida, no abortions. Doesn't matter if you got taken advantage of, don't matter if it's incest, don't matter if there's a healthcare issue. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. On the far, I had to make sure. I was like, some of these states are getting rid of it completely. And I was looking through them. I was like, okay, Florida, you know, it's the ones that you would think, you know, states like Idaho, you know, Arkansas, places like that, you know, they're not getting rid of it completely. Louisiana, they'll still have it in place. But then there are some states, none, zero. And you know what the jail time is?
No, I don't.
They're giving people 10 years.
Oh, wow.
They said they're giving people 10 years. And I'm guessing that's per.
Nope. And y'all said y'all wanted 10 anyways.
Yeah. Look. All right. So again, far right, the I guess the worst it's gonna get if you're from a pro-choice standpoint is you're not gonna be able to get it at all. Then on the far left standpoint, California, they're gonna I guess make it as open legal as possible. Yeah.
Right. Open door policy.
Yeah.
Listen, you ain't gotta live here to get it. Anybody can get it. We ain't taking co-pays for it.
Yeah, and
offering assistance.
Yeah, and they're gonna make it so that, and this is the thing too. It's like you gotta understand the taxes. I understand people get upset. In California, they're gonna make it so that people in California will pay taxes, so the rest of the people in the United States can come get an abortion there.
Wow,
that's dead ass. And not to mention, they're not only paying for it from a monetary standpoint, so you can actually get the abortions for those costs. They're actually paying from a taxpayer standpoint because obviously, you know, the elected officials get paid with tax dollars. And so like they're saying, hey, officials, make it so other people can come here. It's crazy. Now it's obviously California, 15% tax rate over there. And they got the most people at any state. But yeah, California is going to make it so you can go over there. They're going to make the legislation be in place. So not only you can go get an abortion, but if your state makes it so you can't go there and get one, they're going to put laws in place so that can occur. That's going to get tricky because if you cross state lines, you commit a crime. It's a federal offense. Anyways, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. As we said on episode 48, I believe. Funny, this is technically episode 49. They don't follow each other chronologically, but in that numbering order, we talked about it again. But like we said on that episode, it's going to be 51 rulings. The states where you think they're not going to have it, they're not going to have it. The states that are, there are. So I think it's very key to remember that abortion is not illegal. They're just making it so that every state doesn't have to have abortion legally. Those are two different things. I know people aren't going to like that, but that's how the United States is set up. So you are going to have the opportunity to still get an abortion in another state. I'm going to say this to close off. A lot of you jokers, where did a lot of people move to in the last 2-3 years, Jordan?
So where they moved to?
Where did they move to? What is your timeline you see a lot of people move to?
Florida?
Atlanta, Florida, Houston.
Yeah.
And where did they move from?
Here? Here where the snow is? Look, where it's cold at? Look.
And who do you think moved? If you had a demographic guess.
Us?
The segment of the population who needs to get an abortion.
Oh.
A lot of y'all wouldn't move to a state. A lot of y'all was in a state where you could still get an abortion, but you moved to one where you can't. A lot of people moved to Atlanta, Florida, Texas. The 3 states: Texas, Georgia, and Florida. Those are the main places people move to. Houston, Austin, Dallas, Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. A lot of people moved there from Chicago, Baltimore, New York, LA. There's a mass migration from LA during the pandemic where everybody was moving to Texas from LA, from Cali. Everybody's moved from Cali to Texas. And you went from far left.
Yeah, that's literally as wide on the spectrum as you can go. Look, Texas, I ain't gonna say they be wild, but they do what Texas wants them to do.
Look,
all right.
Look, hey, they said they want to see. Remember that? Remember they were saying they was gonna leave. They was gonna leave the union.
They were wilding out here. They were wilding.
Hey, last state to free the slaves. Shout out to Juneteenth. But I mean, like, but a lot of people, they don't even, and that's why I talk about priorities. We always talk about priorities on here. Where is it at? What you can't do is moved from a state that allows you to get abortion because you didn't want to make the money that it costs to live there, or excuse the budget I'd be telling y'all to do. But I mean, now your budget really about you. Now you really gonna need to be.
Guess what? You can't afford the
abortion. And for those of you saying to wrap up, well, dang, Cory, you're telling me I need to travel from my state to go to another state to get an abortion? It's like one of the last things you can say is that you don't have money when you're pregnant. Because it's like, well, how are you supposed to take care of the kid? And this is why the District of Columbia situation where they said, hey, taxpayer money for Medicaid is not paying for abortions. Again, you got to take all the data into account, y'all. They already telling you how to move out here.
Abortions are reactionary. I'm telling you not to get pregnant to begin with.
Yeah, we recommend abstinence.
Yep. Because guess what? That's the only method that's 100%. Don't have sex. All right.
Well, and that's the thing. To wrap up, here we go. All my analogies. There are two things. There's what can you do to not get pregnant, and then there's what can you do to not give birth. Abortion is only for people who are pregnant. You can't get an abortion if you're not pregnant. Right. So how do you not get pregnant? Only 100% method is abstinence. Now, obviously, if you don't get pregnant, by definition, you can't give birth. But abortion is a definition of treatment, not prevention.
Unless you're married.
Right.
The only one.
and then there's a whole bunch of different types of abortion. They got the medicine one now too. But it's like everything else is contraceptive or makes it so that you can't get pregnant. Condoms, Plan B, all that type of stuff, birth control. Those are all things so that you can't get pregnant. But none of them are 100%. There's only 100% option. And then there's another 100% option, but that's after you get pregnant. Right. So if you're using contraception, it's so that you don't get pregnant. It's not so that you do get pregnant and then you need another fail safe. They all say if you're pregnant, these don't work.
Yep.
It's a conversation that people don't want to have. And guess what? The Republicans, if y'all do your research, they've been trying to do this since they passed the law. They've been waiting 50 years for this.
I'm about to say they've been working. They've been working a long time.
And I think probably, I don't know if you know, the first time you heard trigger laws was with this, but I didn't even know trigger law. I didn't even, I thought it was gun rights,
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. I didn't know what they were called. Like, I didn't know what the term was, but I knew that you could have you could have legislation basically waiting in the cut for when something does happen. It's like, oh, go ahead and load up that doc. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's like, damn, they're not playing.
I mean, like I said, I know we nerds, but it's an if-then statement. You know what I'm saying? If, then, you know what I'm saying? We're in then. We are in then.
And it's crazy how you can just have it sit. So that means you can just pass laws and just have them waiting.
Pretty much.
Don't put me in charge. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I have so much stuff.
Mr. Covington, you've reached the capacity for trigger laws.
Hey, if it was a program, that joker would crash if everything. Because we had so much stuff would be. Your car started breaking down. All this is like, if it was like a video game, everything would just start crashing. But yeah, it's unfortunate because this is a big deal. But I think people start breaking it down, understand the situation. Most people who want to get an abortion, you're likely still in a state where you can get one, and they're likely going to put laws in place not to increase it as far as increase how many months you can get it, but to at least keep whatever they have still in law in place. Now there's a segment of you who are pro-choice. You're a liberal in a conservative state for your entire life. I'm not talking about people now who moved there when you played yourself, but some of you may have been born in Atlanta, right? And you live there your entire life and you're pro-choice. I highly doubt that's a lot of people because that's not how it works. Okay. But that's that segment of population where it's like, and that's why I don't think it's that big of a deal. How many people in Texas are mad?
I mean, you tend to live in places that agree with your preferences, right?
That's how it works. How do you think the places are made up? You think they just lie? You think they conserve on everything but this? Now, if you jokers just moved there, right? Excluding military people, shout out to Army Brass on the podcast, me and Jordan. But outside of people who are in military situation, it's likely you and your family have lived there your entire life, and so you're likely clear cut on this issue. They'll get into the religious aspect of it. That's why Louisiana's up a creek. They got their governor, I think, is a priest.
Well,
and he's they're still keeping it for incest and things like that.
Gotcha.
Everything else getting rid of. All right, and to put it like this is one of those things. Like I was like, should I read all this? I'm like, yeah, because it's like, okay,
it's pertinent information.
Yeah.
All of it is like all of it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, okay.
No, I was supposed to say due to the gravity of what's being overturned, right? So,
yeah, and you could probably guess, like, and I'm dead. Like there are a few like you had 51 guesses here. Most people probably get this 100%. And I'm dead ass. If you get most people probably know the pro-choice, pro-life. They're keeping it or not keeping it. Most people probably hit it dead on the head. I'm serious. Like you kind of. I'm reading the states. I'm like I skimmed through a lot of it. It's like okay, Vermont, Dakota. Like if you know enough,
yeah.
It's like on the coast, do yes. On anywhere else, do no. There's a lot of no's in here, but I mean, who lives in South Dakota?
Nobody that I know.
And don't come to me, you LA bums, talking not the actual bums in LA, but don't come to me, you LA fools, talking about you care about people in North and South Dakota. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll give you Utah because it's neighboring, but. Don't pull up talk about man the people, the Dakotians or however you call them. They need it. The people in Alabama do not want abortion to be legal. If you live in California, if you don't know, I think that's one thing to remember. Same thing with the gun rights and stuff. They want it. That's in here too, by the way. I forget which states they said voted on it, but some of these states already voted on this stuff that they don't want it. The situation. I think one of the issues too to wrap up. I know because in my brain is just like, dang, how much abortion stuff does Cory know? To wrap up, I had to do a paper on it my freshman year in college. But what's it called? The before abortion was legal, one abortion has been, I guess, illegal / not legal longer than it has been legal. It's only legal for 50 years, but or so. So that's one thing to take into account. But obviously we didn't have the technology in place when they were doing the back alley coat hanger abortions, etc. And that was, and I would say the main issue, but a lot of women are dying. We have the technology now where it's a lot safer. So that'll be, you know, the states where it's illegal. It'll be that'll be the, I guess, the tipping scale to see it, you know, if you can get this legislation pushed the other way in a state that's getting rid of it, because that's what happened. They had all these women dying, and you know, we got to stop this.
Yeah.
Okay, and so look, man, if you're in Texas, you can go to Cali, and really, I think is it Colorado, and that's Oklahoma, but you know, I think Colorado's probably the closest state. Nevada's keeping it. Colorado's keeping it. Let me okay, Corey's gonna do this one last thing and look at the map and tell y'all where to go. Texas, you can go to New Mexico. New Mexico's keeping it, and Colorado's technically borders New Mexico and Oklahoma, but it's, you know, how, you know, you were born in Oklahoma, you know how shape right there in the far west, got a little line right there. But if you're in Texas, obviously, you know, Texas, it's not my fault. Texas is big as hell, but so,
it's very large.
You know, but obviously the major cities are like in the southwest part. But you know, northwest Texas takes you to New Mexico and Colorado. If you're in Arizona, you obviously neighbor California and New Mexico and Colorado. Idaho, you neighbor Oregon and Washington, Montana. I mean, so even the states that are getting rid of it, outside, if you're in the southeast, you know, you're in the south, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, like that. Outside of those places, you're bordering somewhere that you can go get it. So it's probably only like less than, not even 10 states to where they're not bordering a state where they can go get an abortion. And it's, you know,
what does that mean? It's accessible.
You
just gotta travel a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just really putting this out there so we can, you know, because this is a landmark case. It's we're gonna see the remnants of this in a couple months, obviously.
Yep.
But you know, yeah. So if you live in West Virginia, you can go to Maryland or Virginia or Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of those weird states too. Weird states, because you got Philly there, which is the biggest city. But yeah. But okay, Corey's done with his abortion stuff. Put it like this: it's not going away. Put it like this: if y'all see, and we're gonna end on this, if y'all see more sonograms on your timeline,
you know why.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Okay.
All right. All right. So, Corey, if they need to get their budget together because, you know, they're now having a child and they got, you know, that's where they at with it. Where can they find you at?
One of the icebreaker questions I asked: what are you out here doing? Because I need to know if you're about to introduce a child into this budget. It's very pertinent information. I promise you. But no, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, _Corey, Instagram and Twitter. Got my pricing there as well for the calls. $50 for monthly one, $100 for once a week, $20 ad hoc call. And yeah, that's it. You getting people money right. I highly recommend you link up before the prices go up again. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Making some moves now to increase clientele. So, you know, as it increases, I'm only one person. I have to increase prices to decrease the amount of people I work with, or so I can have more money to make it so I can help more people. Right? I mean, you know, y'all know how, well, y'all don't. If you're listening to this and maybe learn how business works, but supply and demand, and the supply is just me. It's one. So, as of right now,
the demand is high.
Yes, a lot of.
It is.
As I said, they got rid of abortion, but they got. Let Joe come out this motherfucker and say y'all student loans are starting back up. I'm done. I didn't mean to cuss. I'm done. I will lose my mind if they come out here and they lick the tip on this freaking student loan 10K forgiveness and they say that these bitches are starting back up in September. I will pass out.
That's crazy.
I will laugh so hard. I told y'all to get rid of it.
Well,
and now you can't get rid of nothing. Now, Corey needs to be more serious. So we still have to do another episode, and we're about to burn 20, 30 minutes. Now, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
If people need to make sure that they can work out during pregnancy, which you can, obviously, recommend you ask your doctor, medical professional, which neither Jordan and I are. But if Jordan, people want to stay in shape and make sure they're not in the overweight obesity category, what can they do?
You can follow me at Stop Stalling J. That's STOPSTALLINGJAY. Or you can follow us at FinallyFit06. That's FINALLFIT06. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm on TikTok now. All right, check us out.
Nah, the FinallyFit's not there. The Stop Stalling J is. Yeah.
Stop Stalling J is on TikTok. I forgot I got 2 ads on there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for the business page, you can check us out at our website at www.finalyfit.live. That's LIVE. For $60, you get a monthly subscription where you come work out with us twice a week, virtually on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., as well as having a monthly check-in with me, with yours truly, where we can set up your goal and set up milestones so you beat that goal. All right. Also gives you access to our virtual library where we store all our previous classes, so you can access those as needed. And if you would like to travel to the Hartford County area where you can find me and work out with me in person, I do 3 1-hour sessions for $100 a week, or I do a single 1-hour session for $40. And those spots are filling up, so please reach out fast. All right.
Told y'all.
Look, yesterday's price ain't today's price. Look.
Tell him, Fat Joe. I was thinking about that. I love watching stuff in the past and people make predictions. People are talking about, the Locks versus Dipset battle. And boy, a lot of people pick Dipset. And boy, did they get their ass kicked.
Yeah, they did.
Remember always this. Whenever you're picking things, if there is a significant talent gap, you pick the side, even if it's one person. You pick the side with a significant talent gap. One side had Jadakiss. Conversation over.
Yeah.
Unless you got Jay-Z, Wayne, it's a small list of people.
Right.
It's not a lot of people going toe to toe with Jadakiss bar for bar. And what did he go up there? I'm not gonna say nothing he said, copyright, and because he was cussing a lot. But y'all saw when it went viral when it was like y'all lost. I don't know what else happened before or after, but this is over.
Speaking of verses, did you watch the Omarion Mario verses?
No, but did Marion tear his tail up? Mario don't got that many hits. Mario has.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you because you're digging into a pit right now. Mario destroyed.
He destroyed Omarion.
Destroyed Omarion.
Hold on. Did Omarion get to do BTK or no?
Omarion did some of his B2K, but he didn't do all of it.
Okay, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. He did that. That's not my fault. He did that.
No, but it wasn't even that. Omarion sounded terrible, even on the songs he did perform. No,
he can't sing. He can't sing live. I forgot they singing. They wasn't rapping. Okay.
Yeah. Mario came out, and when I say he crushed it, I mean went full. So Mario's from Baltimore.
Let's be biased. Yeah. Let's be very biased. I thought Mario
went full Baltimore. Yeah. Out here,
he went Devontae Davis, who was talking trash in the middle of a boxing match.
Straight.
Right, we try to tell y'all look, Maryland be getting disrespected because we got all these other places, Philly, New York. Look, we don't.
Listen,
Murderland, home of Baltimore.
2.5 hours of slaughter, and Omarion brought out help, and he outsang multiple people. That was the crazy part. He brought out Jeremiah, outsung him. You know what I'm saying? He brought out Tank. That didn't help him.
He brought out Tank. Mario put on Tank head.
Mario, yeah, bro. Tank was like, "Look, this ain't my verses. I tried to help." Look, the half point that Omarion might have had was because of Tank. I'll give him that. But it was a slaughter, bro. It was not good.
Okay, put it like this.
That's why I was gonna stop you. I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
He didn't get to use he ddidn't use his B2K bag like he should have, and he ain't dance, did he?
He did dance. That was the problem. All he did was dance.
Okay.
All he did was dance.
I be forgetting to sing it.
Like, "That's your dumb ass dad."
He started trying to sing. He was like, "Shut up, bitch." Okay. It was bad. Bad.
I forgot a lot of people who sing can't sing in person. I forgot about that. Let me be clear that let me do my cleanup, my reneging. My first album was Mario's album, the Let Me Love You, the one with Let Me Love You. Let me be very clear. And I was gonna say though, he got now his top stuff. Look, whatever Mario's top 3 songs are.
Listen,
he has anthems.
I forgot. So Versus brings out the hits and it brings out their full-on collection. I forgot some of those songs, and you were like, "Yo, Mario been putting out hits for 20 years, like easily. Like he's been putting out hits for 20 years. Like
he could dance a little bit too.
I mean, he can do the little glide stuff. You know what I mean? Mario got him dancing, but it's like, Marion has that, and but he can actually sing. He's a performer. He can actually sing. Omarion cannot sing live. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I was hurt because I thought Omarion was going to give him a run for his money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here before the verses start. I'm over here talking crap on Omarion's behalf. My wife's like, "Mario, wipe the floor with Omarion." I'm like, "Yo, give my man some credit. Like, he gonna reach in his B2K bag. We got Icebox. He got O. He got, to be like,
you sound like me. You sound like me.
Listen, and then I got on there and jaw dropped, and I was just like, yeah, Mario just was crushing him. All by himself too. Didn't bring out nobody. Yeah. It was 1v many, and he was KOing left and right. Like I was like, fight back, because he wasn't fighting back.
and let me be very clear. That's why I said, how much does B2K stuff do? I know one Omarion song, and it's Icebox. And by the way, I need Usher on it. The remix with Usher, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm like. Let me be clear.
He got Icebox, he got Touch, and he got O. Right? Those are 3 Omarion hits that
You gonna bring this Mario though? I need you to tap into everything else. Needs to be B2K. I need you to tap into one of the best boy bands of all time. That's what you need to do when you were lead.
He did. I was, and the bad part was Mario said that. He was like, "Yo, you got to bring." He's like, "The only way you're going to win this verse is you got to bring the boys out here live. Y'all got to make up because they beefing. Y'all got to make up and do the full video live." Like he's like, "That's the only way you're going to win."
I said, did he bring if he would have look, if they would have regrouped, he would have won. Look, it's not my fault.
I think he fumbled a bag because you know what I'm saying. Versus relaunches a lot of people's careers after they've been on the sideline for a while. You know what? Mario did what needed to be done. I guarantee you, his numbers are streaming have increased significantly since last I think it was last Thursday. Okay, he even dropped a new joint with Breezy at the end. You know what I mean? I was like, if it's one person right now, if it's one song, if it's one person you want on your track right now, you want a Chris Brown song, you want a Chris Brown feature. Okay, so yeah, he did the thing. I ain't about to hold you. You can tell Mario was in the back with his vocal coach, like he was in, low re mi fa sol la ti la. Like he was getting it in.
Do re mi, he was doing.
Yeah, he was getting it in, bro. Mario was no, it was sad, but
nah. But see, what I needed them to do with the verses, I need the all timers though. We haven't really had any what's the biggest one? We had like the old hit, but like the modern day last 15, 20 years. We had Gucci and Young Jeezy, but it's like
the one who has the record for the most views is Monica and Brandy. They have 1.1 million views.
Oh, they're not getting that many views. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
that's not that many views for all the biggest artists of all time battling each other.
I mean, I'm just battle rap. So compared to you, so just putting the numbers compared to Mario, I think the highest they ever had, I think they had throughout the entire stream was 350. You know what I mean? So that's 3 times Mario versus the Mario. Brandy.
That's just the Instagram views.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's different then. Okay, never mind. Take that back a little bit. But we want to see Carter versus Carter. We need Wayne versus Hov.
Ooh, that one, that would be fire. That'd be absolute fire.
What were we discussing? Were we discussing in my group chat Wayne versus Hov? We were discussing. No, and obviously the clear one, Ether, Hov versus Nas.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
All I'm saying is this, and I don't care what anyone says. This is Cory talking. If Wayne gets to bring in his mixtape songs, he's washing everyone.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be close. It's not going to be
very clear.
Be close.
There was a time where Wayne had the game in a chokehold for a good
half a decade.
At least 5 years. If you heard that lighter flick on the track, it was fire. It was fire. Like he had some of the most fire mixtapes, fire features. You know what I mean? That was out. You know what I mean? Wayne was crushing tracks. It got to the point where I didn't even know the track until Wayne was on it, and then I had to go back and figure out who was on the original. Like that's how bad it was.
Whose actual beat is this?
Yeah, whose song was it? Like he was the Jacquees of rap at the time. Like he was doing their song better than them. You know what I mean? Like,
if we say crazy. For us, we graduated high school 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying 7th grade till we graduated.
Yeah,
7th grade to 12th grade.
Easily.
Sorry. And by the way,
all the droughts came out, and drought, mind you. So there's the droughts. The people don't know. There's the drought, and then there's the drought is over. I think there were 6, if I remember correctly. There were 3 droughts, and then there were 6. The drought is over. That's 9 mixtapes of featured songs of just straight fire. You know what I mean? We're talking anywhere from 10 to 20 tracks per mixtape. 9.
You leaving out No Ceilings. You leaving out.
And there's No Ceilings 1 and 2 and 3.
Dedication.
Right?
Carter 3.
1 and 2.
Leaving a dedication. Carter 3. Leaving out his features. They do their features too. I want to be very, very, very clear. Well, shout out to Drake because Drake been dropping some crazy stuff. But Wayne's the best. If you do mixtape catalog, it's not even close. His catalog is so large.
It is.
I think he has almost 30 mixtapes alone.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at, because Kanye West is Kanye, but most people probably don't even think Wayne and Kanye are the same era. Wayne did start rapping, really in the 90s, but when he hit his peak, the transition from Nas, Jay-Z, and Eminem to Wayne, Kanye and Wayne are the same era, and everyone knows Wayne is the best of his era, and you don't care who second place is.
You don't.
And this is Kanye West.
Yeah.
Kanye's first 5 albums are College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808 and Heartbreak, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Those are his first 5 albums. Go look at those timestamps and look at Wayne. And that's all Wayne. That's
Yeah.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Look, he put the mix.
It was-
Ho
it
said
was
that. Might send
crazy.
the mixtape Wheezy.
It was crazy.
Look, you know, man.
I remember. I've never. Let me be very clear. I've never in my life, other than when those mixtapes were dropping, waited up for a mixtape to drop so I could download it when on that pip when the timer hit 0.
Yeah, we all crashed in the site.
Yeah, there's again 5 years of me literally waiting for drop mixtapes to drop so I can be the first one to download, because you had to have it on your MP3 player / a burned CD copy of it on the next day, because if not, everybody else was already knew. People knew the lyrics. People knew the lyrics by the end of the beat. You know what I'm saying? So you're behind if you didn't get it the night that came out.
Yeah.
And don't come on there the hour later, because like Cory said, the website didn't crash. So now you gotta wait till the next day, because they got they took the server down, so they got for maintenance because it didn't crash. You know what I mean? So,
we're crazy. We're not even talking about the features. The we taking over the song that put DJ.
I am a beast
on the throne.
Rappers are feed me beats. I'm a king. I need a leash. I love brain. I need a leash. Let me stop. I don't know if there's copyright there, but man, Wayne was different. He was different.
I just try to be respectable about it. Bound to be better. If you get mixtapes, I don't care who you. And by the way, he get his mixtape catalog. His top 10 is borderline beating the next top 10 out everybody combined. Wayne's mixtape is
it was different. It was
because all he got to do is just take the other person's song. He probably rapped on it.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy. And then it's like you would listen to it and you're like, dang, there's no way he's gonna top that. And then the next one come out and it'd be even more fire than the last one. 5 year span, easily 5 year span.
Yeah, his show me what you got. His show. The Drought 3 is crazy.
That was different.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
There was a time, if you, I'm gonna wrap it up on this. On my iPod, there was a time where you can list it by artists and you can see how many songs. I think I had over 500 Wayne songs on the iPod. Everybody else was in the, wasn't even in triple digits. Wayne 500, like that's where it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, I just remember a time when I was, this is radio days for you Gen Zers out there, and even you. By the way, the people after why do I know this stuff? The people after Gen Z are called Gen Alpha. They'll likely do Alpha Beta, so your son will be Gen Alpha. Anyways,
in the Greek,
I think put it like this. So just you know how Xbox kept restarting to get to finally the one again, like a regular person, right? But what's it called? There was a time where I remember this radio. It wasn't even Wayne's songs, but he was on them. He was just on everything. He's on everything. And it's just crazy. And then we remember like when Jay-Z retired and everybody was like, what? Jay-Z's gone. When did Jay-Z come back? Hey, Mr. Cobb.
Yeah.
And then by the way, got bodied.
Yeah.
When Wayne third verse came on.
Yeah. That joint was fire. That's still on that. So for clarity, that is still on my workout playlist to this day. It's 2022. It's still on there. Mr. Carter is still on there right now. Woo.
And this is before we had the internet. So it's like, wait, little one, you know what his name is, but it's like, oh, they both got the, all right, whatever. Y'all, never mind. It's gonna be it's cool back then before the internet. Like what it is now, we just know everything. It's like, dang, they got the same last name. This is crazy. Yeah. when you're 13 years old.
Yeah, it is astonishing back then.
It's astonishing. All right, you new generation people got access to everything at 2, literally. So y'all don't count. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
Are we still running it back? I'm good to go. Are you?
Yeah, we talk about it offline.
Okay, that's probably another thing. You just said yeah.
All right.
We gonna wrap it up.
I got a hard stop at 9.
You good? You then? Are we straight? All right, y'all. You got anything else, Jordan?
No, sir. I think we're
nope.
good.
All right, y'all. Well, remember to save more and say less.
Keep making better your best.
And we will catch y'all in the
next one.